All right,
Yeah, go ahead.
so let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'll all join me, I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to
to
the
the
flag of the United
United
States of
States of
America
America
and to
and
the
to the
republic
republic
for which it stands, one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for all.
for which it stands,
Okay,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
and thank you, everybody. Now the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth?
The truth.
is it fair to all concerned,
Will it build goodwill?
goodwill and better friendships,
Better friendships
Will
be
be
beneficial to
to
all
all concerned.
concerned.
And welcome guests. We have Beth, who is our speaker and also a fellow Rotarian from the AM Club. And I'm kind of looking through to see who else we have on here. Holly Heath and Jaden, which I think is actually Kim Crouch. And some others that Terry Durkin, who's incognito with his facial hair, like a lot of us. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. And invocation is Chris Porman.
Thank you. In honor of the anniversary of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech that was for the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, I thought I would read a prayer from Dr. King. May we bow our heads. We thank you for your church, founded upon your word, that challenges us to do more than sing and pray, but go out and work as though the very answer to our prayers depended on us and not upon you. Help us to realize that humanity was created to shine like the stars and live on through all eternity. Keep us, we pray, in perfect peace. Help us to walk together, pray together, sing together, and live together until that day when all God's children, black, white, red, brown, and yellow, will rejoice in one common band of humanity. In the reign of our Lord and our God, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Very nice. Thanks, Chris. Chris Porman is also the broadcaster. So thank you, Chris. And upcoming birthdays, we just have one before we meet again, and that's John Hammering, Dr. John, so September 9th. And then a kind of a big deal this week, wild polio was eradicated in Africa. And so what this graphic shows is kind of how that has happened. The last reported case was in 2016, and they have been polio free ever since, in large part due to Rotary's efforts starting in 1985. So that is pretty amazing news. And that's partly made possible by folks like our very own Dr. Bears, who straps himself to a perfect stranger and gets thrown out of an airplane. So Chuck and also Jan, they both took the plunge a couple weeks ago and raised some money for Rotary for polio. If Russ is on the line, I don't know if the number is out yet, but how much was raised by Skydive for Polio? Do you know?
I haven't heard the number yet from Noel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I thought, I didn't know if I missed it or not. But either way, we had our club well represented by folks willing to jump out of a perfect, or I guess they're strapped to somebody who's jumping out anyway. So they're either jumping out or they're getting pushed out of a perfectly good airplane. But we appreciate them doing that. So here's some photos that they sent over. So
Wow.
yeah, pretty cool.
John, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't think I was going to be at this meeting and John was going to take over for me. One of my big frustrations is people told me that they donated for this event to the Rotary International website or whatever, and I've had a really hard time finding out. I mean, some of you have told me personally that they did it, and there may be others that I have no knowledge about that I can't thank, but for all you that were able to donate for this event, one way or the other, thank you very much. And, you know, hopefully we'll find out who all those people were. And you know, again, I just say thank you so much for going along with this cause.
Yep. Yeah. Well, thank you for doing it. It looks like it was a pretty amazing experience. So.
It was, you know, Jan was underwhelmed. I wouldn't say I'm overwhelmed, but I really, really enjoyed it. And please, let's get something in the bulletin that thanks all the members that may not be here today for their support.
Yep. Yep. Well, maybe next year we'll strap Jan to you and you can both jump out and then maybe Jan will be overwhelmed.
Maybe. The guy I was strapped to had over 7,000 skydives, so I felt pretty confident in his ability.
Wow. Man, that's pretty amazing. So, all right. Well, we keep your eye out. Check your email for the Rotary food drive that's coming up on barbecue weekend. We have you'll be seeing some emails come out pretty soon about all the ways in which you can participate, either by volunteering to collect food, by donating, by spreading the word, there's lots of different options. So we look forward to that, and it's kind of all hands on deck. Then the governor's golf outing is September 21st at the Links of Taylor.
No, Dearborn Country Club.
I'm sorry, Dearborn Country Club. My bad. So if you have questions or want to golf, you can contact myself or Russ. I'll be sending out an email with some of that information in the next few days. So keep an eye on that. And then Chuck, who asked me to say thank you, and I know Jan appreciates all the support. And it's outings like that make polio eradication in places like Africa possible. So thanks for all the support, and we'll keep plugging away on that. So now we are at my bald-headed brother from another mother is the sergeant at arms today, and he's in his lab coat here with the other Rotary people or the barbecue people. 4 out of 6 folks are bald. So I personally enjoyed the picture. I don't know what that says about folks who were on the barbecue committee, but I'll let you take it away, Kent.
All right, thanks, John. Yeah, that's from a couple years ago. That's the year Stella was the chair, because we gave him a lot of grief about that lab coat look. The newer version of the committee, unfortunately, I'm the only one that's follically challenged. So I'm going to thank a couple people here as I go. And one of them isn't on. I was going to thank James Van Horn for giving me the opportunity to be the sergeant. He and Paul have been doing yeoman's work. So thank you to both those guys. And I was going to find Dale Knabb because I got on the sergeant committee because of him, but of course he isn't here. So I'm going to find another Dale Igalia. I see you on the line, so you'll pay $1 the next time we have an in-person meeting. Kirk, I saw you on the line, Kirk Cohn. I'm going to find you twice. Once for very good reason, because my insurance bill just came. And secondly, just because your daughter spoke a couple weeks ago, and I thought she did a great job. So we'll take a couple dollars from you. I was going to find the heck out of Eric Joy because the other night, my wife and I have been walking all over Plymouth. We've been getting 3 to 5 miles a day. And after a while, we get tired of doing our subs. So we've been doing some other areas. And we were walking along Harvey earlier this week. No, it must have been last weekend. And Eric scared the you-know-what out of Cheryl and I, coming up behind us and laid on the horn and yelled at us. So I was going to find him. But since he's not here, Tim will pay for him. I'm sure he'll get that $1 out of him. So appreciate that, Tim. Since Mr. Porman is on the line, I can't go anywhere in the city without running into a construction zone, a construction barrel, detour. And as a civil engineer, I just can't take that lying down. So you're going to have to come up with $1 for that. That's just insanity. I mean, come on, man. Obviously, I'm very sympathetic because I've been hearing a lot of that complaints from some of the communities I work in as well. I see Bruce Baxter's on the line, or at least I assume it's Bruce.
Yeah.
I was not going to fine you because of the SAD going on in front of your house. I was going to fine Kurt Heisey, but since he's not on, I'm going to have to fine you. So hopefully your new improved street is coming along. I'm hearing it is, so
Yeah.
hopefully you're enjoying it. A couple of serious things. I would like to thank everyone on behalf of the barbecue committee. I think I'm the only barbecue committee member on today for helping with rat cleaning. I'd also like to thank DPS, Chris and your folks and Paul for use of the yard, use of the equipment and that sort of thing. So, and for anyone that let us use their power washer, thank you very much. So anyone that didn't attend or didn't help out, again, you can come up with $1 when you get a chance. Chuck referenced it, and John had some great pictures as well. For Jan and Chuck doing the skydiving, man, you have my not just my gratitude, but I applaud you. There's no way I'm jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. However, for anyone that didn't support, and as Chuck said, it's been kind of hard to determine who. 4-way test here. Next time we have an in-person meeting, definitely $1 for that. One broad one. I'd like to thank those of us who have helped water the plants in Rotary Park. If anyone has not taken a turn or 2 or 3, again, I'd ask you on the 4-way test to please put $1 in next time we have a meeting. I see Bill Ventola on the line. I'm going to have to take $1 out of his wallet after having to send an email out that he was hacked to the entire club. So hopefully you got that rectified. Carol, I think Carol was on the line. I know she was earlier. I'd like to congratulate you on your incredibly challenging year as president. And I say that as obviously a past president from a couple years ago. But I'm not going to fine you. John Bazuvas will pay that fine as the current head here. So couple more. James Gietzen, not going to fine you because I know things are probably challenging right now with COVID and, obviously there's really not music in the air and some of the other things I know you're involved with. I was going to fine Tony Bruscato, but he's not on either. So, I'm just going to have to defer and I'll make Mike Muma pay $1 for you. So Mike won't mind doing that. So,
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Couple others here. I see Kim Crouch is on the line. Kim, hello. I hope all is well. And I saw Penny Joy. And this applies to anyone in the education field. You have my, I don't want to say my sympathies, but my hopes and best wishes for the upcoming year. But as a parent of 3 children, I think you'll understand why I'm going to ask both of you and anyone else in education to take $1 out of your wallet. So with everything going on, it's kind of crazy right now. I've got 2 last ones here. First off, I did not know Mr. and Mrs. Sincock were up at the Grand Hotel. My wife has been there until yesterday working on that building because she's in historic rehab. So I'm going to have to,
awesome.
I'm going to have to charge you both $1 so they can pay my wife's invoice when it comes. So hope you don't mind. And finally, Dan Hordoff, I don't make every meeting, but for those of us who are follically challenged, like Mr. Bazuvas, myself, Dale, and a few others, I'm really envious of your hair. I mean, I probably had hair like that 25 to 30 years ago. So you're going to have to come up with $1. So that's all I've got, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Kent. I appreciate it. And Dan, I said it before, we're going to turn that into a fundraiser. So if you see a bunch of bald Rotarians show up at your house, you better not come to the door. So, and we will move on. Beth Stewart is our presenter, and Don Sunan, I believe, is going to introduce her. So take it away, Don.
Okay, yeah, great to be here. Yeah, we really have a special speaker today, and in fact, she agreed to do this only a couple days ago, so we put her on the spot in a hurry. But Beth Stewart has been the executive director of the Michigan Philharmonic since 2008. She has an extensive background in arts administration with an MA in historic preservation with an emphasis on arts administration. Under her leadership as executive director of the Michigan Philharmonic, the organization has grown and increased its presence in Southeast Michigan, performing as a regional orchestra in multiple venues across Southeast Michigan. Her work includes grant writing, fundraising, public relations, educational programming, and general arts administration. She founded the Friends of the Phil, a membership group, and organized the Michigan Philharmonic Travel Group, which has taken 12 trips to Europe. Formerly the executive director of the Plymouth Museum for 17 years, Beth brings a wealth of knowledge and contacts in the arts and cultural communities in Wayne County. She and her husband, John, have lived and worked in Wayne County for over 30 years, with John serving as a state legislator. Beth is a past president of the Plymouth Rotary AM and formerly served as a board member of the Wayne County Council for the Arts. Welcome to Noon Rotary, Beth.
Thank you. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for having me, and thanks Don. And yes, I bring greetings from the AM Club, and kudos to you guys for Zooming it. We've been doing the same thing. Occasionally having an in-person meeting. We've been meeting under the trees in the parking lot at Park. And actually this coming Tuesday, we're going to be meeting in Old Village on Jeff Sachs' porch and having breakfast. So anybody who'd like to join us, we'd love to see you, 7 a.m. So might be a little, it's actually lovely at that time of day. So would love to see some of you join us. And thanks, Don, for the introduction. As you heard, I mean, Michigan Philharmonic, we were certainly on a roll prior to the COVID crisis. We have won a number of national awards. We were recognized, our music director and conductor recognized nationally. We're performing for about 20,000 people each year, if you count our summer concert attendance. We were doing education programs in 5 different school districts. And then, you know, all of a sudden, as we all know, COVID hits in March, and we had to cancel a March concert and cancel an April concert and cancel all of our education concerts. We do 7 concerts for kids in May. There was no June summer concert in Kellogg Park, no concert in July in Kensington Park, where last year we had 7,000 people attend, and no concert in Campus Martius downtown in August. So that brings us up to where we are now. And it's been, you know, a little wild ride. So, oh, thank you, John. So this was at the Methodist Church, actually, that picture that you see up there, where we do a lot of our concerts. So what we decided, however, was, and I have to give a lot of kudos to our board for really jumping on things, meeting together many, many times on Zoom, and talking about what we were going to do and where we would go from here. And so the first thing, of course, was to kind of address financially how we're going to keep ourselves going, at least for the first few months. So we applied for the PPP, which we got. Although I'm the only employee, that gets a W-2, so we didn't get a lot there, but we got one of the small business loans as well. We put out a match challenge from a donor who offered to match up to $20,000 in donations. And we got several of the grant funders that we had had in the past to give us some emergency funds to be able to get us through. So that was sort of how we addressed the financial challenge. But the next challenge was talking about how we would keep music alive and keep our organization in the forefront of our community when you can't really do what you do, which is play music. So one of the things we decided that was most important was to keep in communication with all of our supporters. And there are many of you on here who are on our e-blast list, for example, which has about 4,000 people on there. And we are lucky that we have fabulous recordings of our concerts from the past, thanks to one of our board members. And so we started sharing pieces about 3 times a week with people. And just on the idea that while we were all in this together and facing this pandemic situation, that we all believe and know that the arts can be a very healing and powerful force that can relieve stress and anxiety. And so we wanted to keep sharing our music with people. And so that turned out to be great. We've still been doing it. I got lots and lots of feedback from people who just kept thanking me, you know, especially when the weather was not so great. They're like, this is one of the best parts of my day. And so we found ways to commemorate various anniversaries and composer birthdays and musical celebrations and all kinds of ways to keep that music coming to people. One of the next things we did was we wanted to try to find a way to keep our musicians busy. Many of them, that paycheck that we gave them in March was the last one that they were going to see for a while. So we, thanks to some support from Community Financial and from the Michigan First Mortgage Company, we started a program called Fill the Air with Music. And we've been sending 1 or 2 musicians at a time out into the community to keep music coming. And we were especially going to senior living centers. So we played for the residents at Tonquish out in the parking lot. We played for Meadow Lodge. We played for Independence Village. We played for one of the spots down in Canton. We played in the Butterfly Garden at the Canton Library. We played on the steps of the Plymouth Library. And I want to invite you next Friday, September 4th at 5:30. We'll be back on the steps of the Plymouth Library with 2 trumpets who do a great job performing just some really fun music. So it's like bring your lawn chair and sit in the parking lot, and we try to keep this spaced out and socially, you know, responsible way to bring music to people. But the seniors have especially appreciated it because, as we all know, they have been extremely isolated during this time of COVID. So at Independence Village, if they weren't able to come outside, they just put their windows up and listened that way. So we're making the rounds again to get music back to everybody, as well as keep our musicians going. We also deepened our partnerships, especially with WRCJ, the Detroit Classical Music Station, and Detroit Public Television, who started playing more of our music on the air, and Detroit Public Television started showing on their Sunday brunch series, showing full concerts from the Michigan Philharmonic. So gave us the chance actually to ideally reach more people than we normally would have. So, and then we decided that we really needed to try to figure out how we could actually do a concert. And thanks to Don, we had this brilliant idea before the limits on audiences became so arduous that we were going to try to do this very safe concert on the football field at Park. And that didn't pan out because, as we all know, the government regulations now were only for outdoor gatherings of 100. So, but we decided to start another collaboration, and that was with 88.1, the high school radio station. And we brought the whole orchestra together, and we did a performance with them wearing their masks, sitting 6 feet apart from each other, all in Don's driveway at his house. And we live broadcast it on 88.1. And James, actually, if you have that little video, so here's a little 3 minutes of the end of the concert in Don's driveway, and hope you enjoy it.
Let me know if you can hear the audio.
No.
No audio.
you don't think that was fun, Don was actually really hoping that the police would show up when the cannon was going off and he could just tell them it. But when they were rehearsing earlier in the day, some of the neighbors were like, what the hell? So it was pretty funny, but we had a great time the orchestra actually was so excited to come back together and play because they literally had not been together since our concert in February. So Don, I don't know if you just wanted to share, it was pretty
Yeah.
exciting to see that happen in your driveway.
Yeah, it was really cool to have it at the house, to have the full orchestra over in my yard. Unfortunately, we're limited to 100 people in an outdoor gathering by the governor's order, and the orchestra makes up half of that, and so we were at probably about 90, 95, something like that for that event. We couldn't really open it up to the public, but it was filmed, and we'll be streaming that later on. But one thing it has done, this past Wednesday, I had an opportunity to meet directly with the governor to have a serious discussion. I spent about 40 minutes with her, having some discussions about indoor and outdoor arts, or size of arts organizations and the like. And I have to say, she was really listening. Right now, we are limited to 10 people indoors. I mean, we got a gymnasium over here that's got capacity for 1,000. We're not allowed to put more than 10 people in it. And outdoors, we could put 1,000 people in a football stadium, all spaced, everybody safe, everybody in masks, and we're only allowed 100. So I'm really pleading with her to really loosen this up, and instead of putting a limit on the number of people, do it as a percent of capacity, maybe 25% of capacity, but meeting all the masking and distancing and even negative testing requirements possibly, to give arts and recreation organizations a whole lot more latitude. And I have to say, she really was taking it seriously, and I'm submitting today a written report on what I had discussed with her. And I'm hoping we really get some relief, because right now arts organizations are really taking it hard because of these limitations. And there's really no reason for that. If we can maintain masking and distancing requirements, it doesn't matter the size of the venue, as long as we enforce those requirements. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I'd like to put 500 of them in my yard the next time around. We have another concert is September 19th, and we could do a big one, but we'll see. Anyway.
Yeah, well, so as Don said, going forward, it's like, how do you keep a season going, and with all of the various limitations? So I once again have to really hand it to our board and to our marketing people and to our musicians for working together with us to come up with the ideas that we can do as a season for this next year, which happens to be our 75th season of the Michigan Philharmonic. So as you can imagine, up until this hit, because we start planning each season about a year prior, we had a fabulous season of concerts planned to celebrate the 75th. And because it was so good, we didn't want to give it up. So the following year, which would actually be the 76, hopefully this whole thing is over and we're just going to do a 75th redo and do those wonderful concerts that we had planned then. But we have planned a season of concerts, which is really equally as wonderful. And what it's going to include, we're calling this year a passport. And we're inviting people to kind of travel with us on a musical journey this year, which will include some live concerts and some online concerts with full concert performances from some of our great concerts from the past, with new commentary and introductions by Nan, and several wonderful educational programs, like instead of TED Talks, we're going to have Nan Talks, and programs with some of our musicians. And then the live concerts, as Don mentioned, we're going to start out back in his at his house on the driveway. And right now we'd be limited to an audience of 75 because the orchestra is going to be about 25. And anybody who wants to go to that has to let me know very soon, because it'll obviously be restricted. And then we don't have anything live on the calendar again until December. Instead of at the Pen, which is still closed, at this moment, we're scheduled to try to do our holiday performances at Our Lady of Good Counsel. Should they be allowed to have a percentage of people inside there, we could get a number of people in there. And actually, sorry, this is still last year's stuff up here because we don't have our new stuff listed yet. It's that new. But then we would be live again in February at the First Methodist Church, and then live again in May at Vistatech. And so obviously everything is dependent upon what the current health situation is at the time of each concert, but we are attempting to try to put those things together. And as I said, in between, we would have these online offerings, and every live concert's also going to be videotaped, as you saw there, and shared with people afterward if you don't feel comfortable attending in person, which a lot of people still do not. So we think it's actually pretty exciting. It's kind of a way to actually reach new audiences. The potential right now is that you have to look on the bright side. And what we are finding is that the old days actually of doing one concert on one night for one small group of people, you know, you've reached that group of people. But with the online content and the chances to stream concerts and do things like this, you do have a chance to grow your audience. They are finding that the classical music listening audience right now is more diverse, both in age and economic and ethnic diversity than ever before, which is the audience that we've all been trying to reach for all this time. And so here's our chance really to be able to do that. We are working as well. We've developed a new partnership with Comcast Cable, and we're going to be having a Bravo series on Comcast, which is 5 or 6 concerts that we have done in the past. And if you have to be a Comcast subscriber, obviously, to enjoy that benefit, but it'll be on their on demand as well as their channel 900. So once again, the potential for reaching lots more people statewide is there. And we're working with the schools right now to put a lot of our education programs online on our website so that teachers will be able to access our Concert for Kids and our education instrument demos and all of that, as well as our children's CD, which 5 of the songs on the CD relate to children's literature. So we have a teacher who's working on writing some lesson plans to go with those now. And we also, as many of you know, have a wonderful youth orchestra program. And we had about 75 of our kids come back this past Tuesday, and we are starting with 7 outdoor rehearsals at Park. They were spread in different locations all around the building because we have 5 different ensembles. And the kids were all wearing masks unless they were playing a wind or brass instrument, and spaced apart from each other. And it worked out beautifully. And I think that everybody felt safe and they felt like we were doing this responsibly, and but while still trying to bring music education to young people. And so, as I mentioned, I'm very proud of our board for going after this, for deciding that, you know, you get to the point where you can say, are we going to fold up and go home, or are we going to go out and go after this and find a way to not only keep music alive, but to keep it thriving. So we appreciate the support that we've gotten from you in the past. And I know from the foundation as well, and you'll probably be hearing from me for some other ideas that we have that we would need support. So thank you again for having me. If you get your passport information in the mail, please we'd love to have your support. Send it back. You'll also see some information in the October Plymouth Today magazine. But as I said, if you're interested in that September concert, which is going to be called One World, Many Songs, and it's music from around the world in Dawn's driveway, you'd have to let us know about that fairly soon. But thanks again for having me, and I'm happy to answer any questions or whatever.
All right.
Thank you, Beth.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Beth?
Beth, I'd just like to say that my mom moved into Tonquish about 4 or 5 months ago, and that concert introduced her to 2 or 3 people that have since become very good friends. And so
Oh, wonderful.
it's a real shame. She's 87, her best friend's 92, and they go walking now, and it all was because of that concert.
Oh, well, I'm so glad. You know, there really was. They all came out and brought their chairs and sat in the parking lot. And it was kind of like, wow, I haven't gotten a chance to see you. And you know, they were going to be, actually, we can't go back there because as you probably know, they're doing some work in the parking lot. So if they're able, they're going to be notified of the concert at the library next week and invited to come to hear that outside. So
Kudos to you guys.
yeah, thank you. Glad to hear that.
Any other questions for Beth? I'm kind of scrolling. I'm sharing screen and scrolling.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing all that on there. And yeah, we are getting our new stuff onto the website really as we speak. But so give us another couple days and you'll be able to find all that information I talked about our new stuff on there. And let's hope that we can all be back together again sooner rather than later, but who knows? And kudos to everybody for, you know, trying to make everything work, and Rotary keeping up the great work that it does. And I'm proud of this organization as well.
Thank you, Beth. And
You're welcome.
we can, everybody can find you. You're a woman about town. So if there are questions, people will track you down.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, so michiganphil.org, or to reach me, beth@michiganphil.org. So
all right.
thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Beth. Enjoy the rest of your rainy
Yeah,
afternoon.
we need it though.
And before we get to the next exciting thing on our agenda is who's going to win Penny's lunch money this week. But next week, we do not have a meeting in Labor Day holiday. And the following week, September 11th, which would be when we go into the State of the Barbie, I've got a different type of meeting plan that's a little bit outside of the box. So keep an eye on your email for details on that. It's usually our State of the Barbie. This year we're gonna have a little twist, so keep an eye out for that. And with that, last week Bill Keith won Penny's lunch money. So who will the winner be this week? I believe James or Penny is going to tell us. Hello?
Mhm.
Anyone?
I have Holly as the winner.
Holly? Are you still on, Holly?
Yes, I'm still on. Yes, that is really fun.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
City or the Township of Plymouth, any member of the Chamber of Commerce, here's a whole list of all the places you can shop using my lunch money. So
Wow.
have fun.
Okay, thank you very much.
And then before we close it out, thank you, Penny. Congratulations, Holly. And before we close it out, this is just a kind of a motivational slide. Danny Hyman started this trend a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was pretty cool. And so you can really change the world if you care enough. And I think that's what Rotary is all about. So thank you to everybody for all that you do and continue to do. And I will ring us out. Enjoy your rainy afternoons and your Labor Day weekends, and we will see you again soon.
Bye.
Thank you, John. Thank you,
Bye,
John.
everybody.
Great
Thanks,
meeting.
John.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everyone.
Good seeing everybody.
Yeah, good to see everybody.